Hello students, I'm Professor Plinio Monteiro, and in this video I will present to you the decisions related to the product or the very nature of your offer. In global market, the starting point for making your product decision is to choose how you're going to adapt your product or adapt your promotion. And thinking about the two dimensions of standardization and adaptation, we can have a matrix with four elements. Of course, from time to time, or usually, you need to launch new products in the market that can be delivered with standard communication or adapted communication. So let's look to this matrix and see what kind of strategies we can use. First, let's start with the alternative to keep your product standardized and also using a standardized communication or positioning. This is what we call a strength extension. In that case, you're going to change almost nothing from your product, and also you're going to keep the same value, the same positioning for your product. This means that, okay, you can change a little bit your campaigns. For example, you can change. It will be almost mandatory to change the language, but despite of this, you are going to maintain everything almost the same. When you can use that, when you need to achieve high levels of economies of scale, and also when you know when cultural differences and institutional differences are really small compared to the country that are used to operate with a product, to the country that you're planning to launch this product that still exists. So if the differences are small, and if you need to achieve economies of scale, and if your brand is, people know your brand, if the meaning of your product is the same when you make a comparison between different countries, then could be a useful strategy to use a straight extension. Let's look to the point when you need to adapt your communication. As you can see, in that case, you can keep a standardized product, a very similar product, but then you need to change your communication or your positioning. This could be required given that you have cultural differences or the usage of the product is different. For instance, the target groups inside each market, they are different. Or when you have a different way to the knowledge and the brand equity of your business when they are different from one country to another, or given differences in the product life cycle. So if you have the same product, but you have this product in a mature market, and then you're going to launch this product in another market, probably the communication needs to be different, since in the other market you're going to be just in the beginning of the product life cycle. So these differences can make it a requirement to adapt at least your promotion, even though you can keep your product the same. This is what we call the promotion adaptation. In that case, the product will be almost the same, but you need to change your positioning and the way that you're going to communicate your product in the market. Let's look to the other way, to when you need to adapt your product, but you can keep a very similar promotion. This is what we call a product adaptation. So when you're going to use that, imagine that you have a brand that is very famous, everyone knows the brand, even in this new market that you're entering, everyone knows your brand. And imagine that even though the product does not fit the needs of this market very well. For instance, they can have different tastes. if you think about food or restaurants, or the product needs some kind of adaptation to enter in that market, um, given, for instance, some legal restrictions, or sometimes with some profile of your customer. Let me give an example. For instance, it's very common to have the same brand of cars being launched in many different countries in the world. And usually they have a very similar way to promote the product when they are launching these products worldwide. But we know that a car that you buy in Europe or United States, if you buy the same car in Brazil, it will be very different. They have many restrictions imposed legally to have more secure car, to have more less polluting cars. So the cars are different when you compare the Brazilian model with the European or the American models, the cars from the United States. But the campaign are usually they are very similar. The main ideas of the campaign are the same. People know the brands, and in that case, you're going to use a very standardized or a high level of standardization on your promotion. But in the other side, you're going to adapt your product. And sometimes this can be due some characteristics of the target group. For instance, in Brazil, people are much more price sensitive, and also cars are very expensive here, given different factors. So this means that probably they are going to offer less additional items in the cars, and also they will start the basic models will be much less equipped. They have much less features than the cars in Europe or United States. Let's look to the last one, the dual adaptation. Suppose that you have to adapt your product and also to adapt your communication. This is the case where you need to make a lot of adaptations because probably people need something different. The target groups are different in each country, and also some legal or institutional restrictions will make you to adapt or to change something from your product to enter into these markets. And also, suppose that your brand, you don't have really a positioning that everyone knows worldwide. So basically, people will see different associations to your brand and your product given the country that they are living in. In these cases, basically, you need to change your promotion in each country that you're entering, and also you need to change the product. So you have much more to do, much more to adapt, and then you're going to have less scale efficiency. You're going to have less economies of scale, and but sometimes this is a requirement given these differences in the target groups and the way that they perceive your product and brand. And sometimes you have from time to time, our companies need to develop new products. They need to create new products. This is the case of a product invention. So basically, you can create new products, new categories of products, or new models of products to be launched with a standardized or adapted strategy. In that case, you can create some new products from scratch, but then sometimes you can use, if you have a very famous brand, you can use a standardized positioning and way to communicate with the market. And if you're launching something new and people don't know you, or you need to bring new associations to this product, then you need also to change your promotion. So thinking on everything, you can select what is the best decision to adapt just your product, your promotion, some combination of both, and sometimes launching new products to keep competitive and reach new markets worldwide. This is an interesting example of the Strafe extension. Basically, they keep the same campaign, the same, even the models are the same, and the product is basically the same. The only thing that they changed was the language. And we can imagine that for the original markets where this product was launched in Europe, basically they have some cultural similarities with Argentina. So people in Argentina have close feelings and relations with people in Europe. And because of that, the cultural background is very similar in many aspects. Of course, they are different in other aspects, but they are very close related to the way that people interact in society and the beliefs. And because of that, the company just believed, okay, we have a very famous brand, we have a very good product, and they will perceive the product as the same. So could be the case, just launch the product with minimal adaptations, in that case, just with adaptations in the language. This is an interesting example of a dual adaptation for the Indian market. In that case, we have a famous brand that was entering there, but they have the Indian market compared to the traditional markets for Kellogg's. They are very different. So the tastes, what is value for customers, and in that case, they need to adapt the original product and also the way to communicate because different eating behaviors in India. And in that case, it was necessary not only to change a little bit the product, but also to change the way to communicate to the market. This is another example of a promotional adaptation. In that case, you have the same product, a Lux soap. So basically, there is no difference in the product sold in India and United Kingdom. But look in the left, the adaptation of the campaign. So as you can see, you have some woman alone, relaxing, and she's taking a bath, and in a very fancy place. So this means that the product is trying to attach a meaning of luxury and trying to achieve people that use this product will be attached to have high status or high income, for instance. And look to the symbols that will be related to that. And look how the scene, the environment is very important. The woman is in the center of a big environment. But look there in the right side, the campaign for the campaign in India. In that case, people are much more important. You can see that social relations. Also, they're using jewelry and they are using ornaments. And this means that these symbols are of status means that you need to change your communications. And in that case, also you have celebrities. So being someone that you can recognize, probably it's important there. So status is related to a specific person, not to a contest in general. So in these cases, we can see that even if you're trying to have a similar positioning, so you're trying to achieve luxury and something related to high status, the meaning of status and how you create symbols of status, they are different from country to another. In that case, even if you try to have the same product with the same positioning, you need to change your communication. And this is a very good example of promotional adaptation. The decisions on how to innovate in global markets, the decision is very important in the case of this course. And the reason why is that when you are trying to reach different markets in different countries in the world, sometimes you can have different types of innovation being applied in each area in the world. And also your product mix will vary a lot. So the types of products that you're going to offer in each area, they will be very different from area to area. And because of that, many times you need to have different types of innovations to reach these markets. And what are the main types of innovation that you can use? First, you can have one invention. In that case, you're having something new for the customers and for the business. You're creating something new. In that case, you can have a discontinuous innovation when you have something that is really new and that will create a disruption in the market. They are game changers. You can have incremental changes when you have a huge improvement in terms of performance or quality, adding something that is really new to the market, like the Mach 3 from Gillette. And also you can have a continuous innovation. Like you have the same product, but you're adding some additional features, like a better camera, new design, but you're not changing the product as a whole. And then you can have the line expansion. The line expansion is basically when you're going to offer that will be new for the customers in terms that it will be the first time that you're going to deliver that new product for the customer, but it's something unusual for the business. For instance, now Ambev, they have many different products in the beverage market. So if they launch a new line of beer, a different brand of beer, they are making expansion in their line. And in that case, you're just improving the size of a marketing mix, trying to reach new markets or to reach a specific positioning for your company. And then you can have the modified product. This is something that is new to the customer. This is not new for the customer, but is new for the company. For instance, Ford can try to create electric cars. So since they are now trying to develop their own electric cars, this is the first time that they are doing that. But they are not the first one in the market. There are many other offers like that, and customers are aware about this category of product. And the same when Coca-Cola launched the energy drink Burn. So this energy drink was not something new by that time, but it was new for Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola was trying to deliver a new product to reach some segments in the market that she was not used to reach with their traditional or existing products. And finally, when you think about launching a new product, we need to be aware how to manage not only our product life cycle, but also our innovation life cycle. So let's look in why we need to do that, because in the last years, the time to market, the time that you need to launch a new offer in the market, this time is reducing for many different markets. So we are launching products even faster. So you need to reduce the errors during the innovation phase of your product, your process, also named as a product development process. And also you need to manage more carefully your product life cycle. And as you can see here, during the product development process, that starts with the generation of many ideas, assessing the feasibility of each of these ideas to select the best ones, and then you start testing these ideas with some customers, with specialists, and finally, when you validate your idea, and then you move to the research and development to bring this idea to life. Then you're going to develop the product, develop the technology. And during this phase, when you have a good idea done, ready to be developed, then over the time you need to invest a lot of money on research and development. And until you start launching your product, when you introduce the product in the market, you're just losing money, you're just investing, so you need to invest a lot of money. And because of that, when you start the product life cycle, you're basically having some losses, financial losses. And even usually during the growth stage of the product life cycle, then you're going to achieve the break-even point. Then your sales will be enough to guarantee some profit for your business. And during the maturity of the product life cycle, you'll have most of your profit, especially when you reach the maximum or the potential of your new offer. And finally, after some period of time, probably that product will start to have a decline, and this is a point that you need to be ready to launch new products. This means that you need to manage not only the product life cycle, but the innovation life cycle in the product development process. And nowadays, the time to market is it's being reduced year after year. So it's very important to understand how you can manage these factors to reduce the time to market and also to keep the introduction of new products over your product life cycle to keep your company profitable. And that's it. This was the first presentation telling the main decisions related to product in international marketing. Thank you, students. See you in the next videos. Bye.